Guys, look what we got. Games Workshop sent us Feast of Bones.
Oh man, I can't wait to see the new Bone Reaper models.
And that Tyrant, it hasn't been updated since 1984.
Well, let's open it.
They forgot the instructions. Again.
Games Workshop has sent us the new Feast of Bones box set, as well as the Battletomes for the ravenous Ogor Mawtribes and the cold and calculated Ossiarch Bonereapers. We'll be sure to include these armies in future battle reports, but today we'll be covering our favorite points from the two Battletomes.
If this is your first time hearing about these factions, the Battletomes provide excellent introductions. The Ogres are nomadic, muscled brutes who rampage their way across the mortal realms, eating everything in their path. They exist in two states, feeding and hungering, and this duality drives their narrative on the tabletop. The Gutbuster Wargluts are made up of flabby hordes of Ogre Gluttons and Iron Guts, led by brutal and prodigiously fat tyrants. The Beastclaw Raiders are grim, frost-cursed riders mounted on titanic stonehorns and thunder tusks. Despite the horrifying prospect of being devoured by hulking savages, the Battletome has injected a healthy dose of dark humor into their lore. In the History of Hunger timeline included in the book, a Tzeentchian Magister literally has his face melted off as the assaulting ogres, full of flesh-warping magic, begin uncontrollably vomiting warp fire.
While the Mawtribes stuff their faces with their foes in an unruly attack, the Ossiarch Bonereapers are the polar opposite. Militaristic and disciplined, Nagash has imbued his secret weapons with the cunning of his vampire generals and the loyalty of his skeleton legions. From the beginning of the Battletome, the distinction is made between the Ossiarch and the living dead. They speak, use reason, and bargain with the denizens of the mortal realms as they fulfill their sacred duty. Collect the Bone Tithe to expand the empire of the Ossiarchs into Nagash's Necrotopia. While bone is the raw material used by the Mortisan class to create the Bone Reaper armies, souls are the animus which powers them. The spirits of the warriors past come together to create an even more powerful champion, having absorbed qualities from numerous tacticians, hunters, and barbarians across the realms. The Battletome demonstrates the complexities of the Ossiarchs by describing a military campaign undertaken by their leader, Catacross, against the spirit nation of Ossia. Upon their defeat, he installs his generals in a political coup, only to lose lordship of Ossia when a more powerful lord, Nagash himself, defeats Catacross, forcing him to bend the knee.
We wanted to highlight specific aspects in these books and give each feature a fun name. So let's start our review with killer combos.
Looking through the rules for each Battletome, we found two we think are worth sharing. Let's look at the Frostlord on Stonehorn. This guy dishes out damage, especially on the charge. The Stonehorn's rock-hard horns deal 4 damage and at full health are rocking 6 attacks. The drawback is that this attack only hits on a 4+. But what if it hit on a 2+ instead? Any Mawtribes army can pick a mount trait for one of their heroes, and the trait Black Clatterhorn gives the model +1 to hit with its rock-hard horns. To take this attack even further, pick the Boulderhead Mawtribe for your army. You'll be forced to take the artifact Brand of the Svard, which adds +1 to hit to the bearer's mount's melee weapons. As a bonus here, this means both of the Stonehorn's attacks will hit on a 2+. And if you feel so inclined, the generic command ability All Out Attack gives you reroll 1s to hit in melee.
For the Bone Reapers, Mortek Guard form the backbone of your army. They have a respectable 4+ save, but with only a few buffs, they become nearly indestructible. First take the Petrifex Elite Bone Reaper Legion to add +1 to the save of your entire army. Then notice the Mortek Guard's command ability. Lots of Bone Reaper units have command abilities, and in this case can be activated by the unit's champion called the Hecatus. Shield Wall gives the guard a reroll to their saves for 1 combat phase. A rerollable 3+ save is already tough to crack, but like all Death factions, the Deathless Warrior's Allegiance ability negates wounds on a 6+. And similar to the command abilities, they don't need a hero nearby to use it, only the Hecatus. And if you want to increase the Deathless Warrior ability from a 6+ to a 5+, have a Mortisan Bone Shaper take the Load of Saturation magic item.
Smart tacticians will love dissecting the synergies in these Battletomes, but that's only half of each book. There are some bits of lore we love.
The first edition of Age of Sigmar introduced the magical snowstorm called the Everwinter. that harrowed the Beastclaw Raiders, forcing them to be constantly on the move or face a freezing apocalypse. The Mawtribes book has pushed the story forward and given you a reason to base your Beastclaw Raiders without snow. The Shyish Necroquake has countered much of the Everwinter's magic in an event called the Great Thawing. Beastclaw Raiders who failed to escape the blizzard, frozen in ice for ages, have been released from their icy prisons. Ogres denied a good meal are already desperate creatures, so those that have been encased in ice and thawed have been driven truly mad by their hunger.
The Bonereapers are constructs made of bone and soul. The Mortisan class are the ones tasked with fashioning these warriors, but even their forms are subject to experimentation and improvements. The Soul Reapers are not builders like their fellow Mortisans, but harvesters necessary to complete their grim work. One Soul Reaper, Tuagref, is noted in the Battletome for capturing the soul of an elven mage, placing it in his own body for later processing. The soul rebelled, babbling a stream of destructive spells that wreaked havoc on Tuagref's soldiers. Since then, Soul Reapers have been fashioned without mouths, never to speak rogue incantations again. Allegiance abilities really help make armies play as unique experiences. Both of these Battletomes have some abilities that greatly change the game's core rules we like to call favorite features.
Ogor Mawtribes gain the Might Makes Right allegiance ability. Age of Sigmar is often an objective-based game, totaling the number of models to control a point on the battlefield. Might Makes Right levels the playing field a bit. Ogres count as 2 models, ogre monsters count as 10 when determining control of an objective. We feel like this rule could change the game if it's a sign of things to come. In a future edition, will other monsters count as more than 1 model, or will this be a rule that will stay classy for the Mawtribes?
We mentioned that Ossiarch Bonereaper units can use command abilities. What we didn't talk about is the Ranks Unbroken by Descent allegiance ability. Bonereaper units don't have command points. They have Relentless Discipline points. These replace command points and are generated at the start of the battle round. They cannot be saved for future turns. You get 1 for each hero, each War Scroll battalion, each liege, and you get to roll a dice for each unit you have on the battlefield. On a 6, you get another. Oh, and if Catacross is your general, you get 3 more! Holy
Shnikey.
This rule turns the command point mechanic into a huge resource pool using abilities you can master using in combination to deadly effect.
Shnikey.
Lastly, let's pick the most wicked war scrolls from each book.
The Ogre Tyrant has seen big improvement, no doubt thanks to his excellent new model. He's armed with 3 melee weapons and a shooting weapon. 2 of his melee weapons can do extra damage on an unmodified roll of a 6 to hit, and he gets to pick his big name, adding tactical flexibility such as +2 to his movement or +1 to wound when he charges.
While the Tyrant is mighty, he might not be a match for Catacross, Mortarch of the Necropolis. He's got 20 wounds and a cabal of followers and numerous abilities, ranging from throwing away your opponent's command points on a 4-up, to picking enemy unit anywhere on the battlefield and giving them a -1 to hit. As Catacross takes wounds, he loses these abilities as his followers crumble to dust, but as they fall, Catacross starts to take notice and rises to meet the fight. After he's taken 13 wounds, Catacross reaches his full combat potential with 8 devastating attacks.
We'd like to thank Games Workshop for sending us these products and giving us a chance to share them with you. Look forward to these new Battletomes on the tabletop very soon.